Hello and welcome on to episode 6 of Unorthoblocks season number 5. In the last episode we did a few things around here. We continued to improve the facade of our storage area. We built up a pretty cool looking custom pale tree. And we also built up a decaying, it's meant to be like a willow tree. And this is exactly the area that we're going to be working in today. I've come up with a pretty cool and, I want to say, unique design for this area. So I'm really looking forward to getting into that. It does mean a lot of this grass placement that I did in the last episode is actually going to disappear. But we are going to be working on that, and as ever we're going to be continuing to push our way through this storage area. Before we do any of that though, I thought we might stop off at some of these brand new shops that have opened up in the shopping district, namely this one here, the shulker shop. I want to see 5 diamonds for a stack of shulker shells. Oh my god. Is that not a bargain? I feel like I don't even know how many diamonds I have. Uh, uh, is that all the diamonds I have? Oh no. I guess we might be going down into the mines. So, mini shopping spree complete. I am going to get just straight stuck in, I think. We've got quite a bit to gather up first. But for you guys, you're going to jump straight into time lapse. So we have started to make a decent little bit of progress here. I'm really happy with the way that this is looking at the moment. There's a lot of different block types here, and we're sort of going for a bit of a swampy vibe. I just thought I'd take a little bit of a break. We've collected so many resources. We had to do a massive resource gathering job to get all of this together in the first place. And I've probably used more mud and muddy mangrove roots than I realistically needed, but I just wanted to get the base completely laid out before chucking the floor on. And I think it's come out looking pretty cool so far. Part of me wonders whether actually it looked better without the water, but you know that's a whole nother thing. I saw this short on YouTube, and it had the moss carpets just hanging over the water, so it looks a bit like algae. And I really love the effect. If I find that video again, I will absolutely link it. But it's a really neat little effect. Obviously, we've got firefly bushes going on, and we've got some torches underneath moss carpets here, just to sort of keep the area mob proofed as well. Purposely went for the sort of smoke particle effect. I thought it might add a little something else here. I'm all for particles. I do want to get some sort of custom tree designs in here, but I don't want to make it too overbearing, because there is an awful lot going on here anyway. We're using the granite to sort of blend in with the coarse dirt a little bit as well. It might be a little bit too on the pink side. I feel like the texture must have updated at some point, because I remember 6 years ago that worked really well. But it still looks pretty neat and I like it. The pathway here is completely battered up, and obviously at the end of a pathway there has to be something, right? Right? So we've clearly still got some spawning problems, but we do have a pretty cool little witch's hut going on in this little swampy area that we've created. I think there might be a bunch of zombies underneath us. It does sound like it. Let's come and have a little look from another angle. It is night time at the moment, which is almost like the perfect viewing time for this. Look, it's also like awkwardly out of place. If I could actually jump up here. Hello. Yeah, there's still some mob proofing we need to do. Excuse me. Goodbye. Yeah, things are like sort of awkwardly out of place, and I love the sort of block palette that we've gone for with it. It's really hitting that decrepit, falling apart look, and I think it suits this perfectly. I'm actually not going to sleep because I'm enjoying the night view of this. Kind of gives you the atmosphere that you're going to feel, or the idea of the atmosphere behind this build is to sort of come in and it be a bit like this. Someone is now sleeping, so we're going to lose all our particle effects, which is sad, but it looks just as beautiful with the light beaming on it. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. Kind of an interesting, I mean, the burnt out tree uses a lot of the same blocks as the roof for the house, and the sort of idea for the roof of the house is where the tuff comes in is sort of like where the rain has affected the roof, which ultimately has led to like the moss and all of the vegetation growing on it. And I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, because it's me, the internals of this are completely empty. I have no intention of leaving them empty. We're going to do some work on it at some point. When is some point, I hear you ask? I have no idea. We're going to put something in there, though. I've also left this area over here open, because what I want to do here is build a moss farm. We're going to need a lot more moss for this. And although there is a moss shop, I think I should probably start producing at least some of my own things, rather than just relying on everyone else's things. But yeah, no, it looks pretty cool. Once we start getting all the trees and that in, we can sort of start framing it up a little bit as well. We're going to force the path, the walked path, to sort of come from this direction, and then you're going to follow the fern bush around and into this area. So it should wind up looking pretty cool. Obviously this area here is intended to be lower than the other segments, which is why it becomes a bit of a bog because of the runoff from the mountain, which, you know, we're just trying to logic, you know, Logic Minecraft, why not? I think I also want to actually expand this mountain out. It was sort of fit for purpose. It was like okay with my initial plans and ideas. And it's actually going to save a lot of the digging out as well to build the storage. So I need to work that one out. But I am going on holiday. I'm on my way to Tenerife. In fact, actually, by the time this video goes out, I should well be back and be preparing for next week's video. And hopefully be on the verge of completing it, because I've done my very best to get ahead. Which you could probably tell, the Deep Dark episode was kind of a supercut. It was never intended to be a full episode, as it was. That was supposed to be a part of the previous episode, but I spent a lot of time on that video, and I'm really, really happy with the way that it came out in the end. So I felt like it also deserved its own space and time. So you'll have to let me know if you like that sort of content, where we're jumping into these deep cinematic styles, and I thought it was pretty cool. I love that sort of stuff, so I mean, I'm still going to make it anyway. I don't care what you think. No, I mean, let me know.